Okay, this is Charles Tyler back at the Charles Tyler Show at the Black Man's Option. Alrighty, we want to talk about today about the misconceptions about the favelas in Rio de Janeiro, also in Salvatore Bahia. To get the perspectives properly, we want to give. I wanted to bring my man Stephen Sullivan back on the show again. All right, and get things rolling right here on this topic. Stephen, it's been a while,
Yeah,
but we've just gotten to a dialogue earlier on the Facebook group about the misconceptions of the favelas, and I wanted to get a well, more of a lifelong view of what you're going through, what you've seen in the favelas, and also what I've seen in the favelas that I've been in. Okay, and I just wanted to get your perspective. What do you think on that?
well, I mean, I just think that like I said, we can't generalize, you know, all of these communities, because there's some communities, yes, that are high crime areas, that you should not go in there as a tourist. But then you have some other areas, other favelas that are just just they're just typical neighborhoods. The people there work. They have families like me and you. They party. They have cookouts. In some of these places you can have a good experience. And meet people. Like a great portion of Brazilian culture originates in these communities, and so you'll get a lot of that. You know, and I just think that one shouldn't generalize. You know,
Okay, we're having little technical difficulties. Did Stephen, can you hear me?
saying that.
Hold on one second. Oh boy, here we go again. I'm having some serious difficulties today with my internet. Oh boy, come on, hurry up. Stephen, please hold, brother. I'm so sorry. Sorry for the technical difficulties. We're gonna get Stephen back on in just one moment. Get him right back on right now. Great, great. Never had this problem before, except for when I'm doing an interview. Okay, let's try one more time. Sorry for the delay. Stephen,
Hello.
I am so sorry. This internet's killing me today. I don't know what's going on here. Never had this problem before, but it seems like when I want to do an interview, it just go crazy. But yeah, we were saying now we left off at where we started losing you was when you started diversifying the neighborhoods and the favelas.
Yeah. Like I said, you know, you have the average person. The average person that lives in these communities, they're just, average blue collar, working people that have families, just like me and you, they have dreams, I have I have some students that I teach English to. They're studying, chemical engineering, and they're doing great things, and they're sharp young kids. You know what I mean? Very well dressed and respectful. And I just don't like this whole idea and that's going on in Brazil, and that everybody from these areas, from these neighborhoods, are just like criminals. And they're just no good, and the drug dealers is just, I just don't like this generalization. People that live in the favela
But
communities.
that does exist. That's the thing. Now, in like for example, the favelas that I've been in Rio. Now, there are pacified favelas, which are fun to be in and everything like that. I never told anybody not to go into the pacified, safe favelas and have a good time. Go for a favela tour, something like that. We had a couple of individuals in the
Yeah,
group last about 2 weeks ago who was trying to hype up going into a dangerous area in the favelas, like in the North Zone and stuff like that. I've been in the North Zone, and I dodged bullets, in the North Zone
yeah,
too. And I usually, as for a first timer, I don't suggest it. For a tourist up front, a guy that's been in Brazil the first time, I don't suggest going into non-pacified favelas.
yeah. I don't either. And like, if you're a first time, visitor to Rio, just stay in the Zona Sul.
Yeah, well, there you go. You know,
don't go, don't go to the north. Yeah, you don't want to be walking around and just like that. I'm not suggesting that they do that. I'm not suggesting that at all. I'm just suggesting that people just have an open mind, and not judge people, based on their location, or their address. You know what I mean?
of course,
Because I think that they go through a lot of that, too much of that down here, and I feel like us as immigrants or expats, whatever you want to call it here, I think we should just, they go through enough of that, with the upper middle class elite that kind of look down on people, that live in these areas. And I've met some great people in these areas, and that grew up in the favela, but they grew up poor, but that had no bearing on their character. Like my wife is a good example of this, and I'm not saying this because she's my wife. I'm saying this because she really is a good person. You know what I mean? And she has a good work ethic. You know, and respectful. You know what I mean? Everyone I brought to my house, she's always been welcome. She's always cooked. For them, and they've always had a good time.
well, like I said, I totally agree with that. I just want to make people understand is that, especially when you're a first timer coming to Brazil, you don't want to get to a mindset of where you're going from one, you spend about anywhere between $1,500 to $2,000 to come to Brazil, and go from one hood, from basically in my case, from our case, where because we both grew up in the same neighborhood, from Germantown, Philadelphia, all the way to the North Zone favela in Rio de Janeiro. Okay, but I look at it like this: the brothers who were in particularly trying to push this thing on the group. You go from a ghetto mindset, and people with a ghetto mindset tend to want to stay in the ghetto, even if it is in another country. Now, and what I mean is, you know, going into, there's some favelas, right, that you wouldn't even think there are favelas in Rio. I mean, I went to one guy's house in the favela, and I went in his house, and I'm like, whoa, hold up. Is this the same house I walked in? I mean, this looks like a mansion.
Yeah.
It looked like he had Roman like walls, and it's white, and it was beautiful. I was like, I want to stay here. Forget about going back to Copacabana on Intimima. I would stay here all night. But why? It was in a pacified favela. All right. And he redid his house. In fact, it was a house where it was three generations built in this favela, built their houses on top of each other, and they built them with such skill and everything like that that you would not know that it was actually a favela. Okay, or it was like, and everything like that. And like I said, there's some very good people in the favela. I got a lot of good friends too, but these are all pacified favelas. All right, like the City of God, and everything like that, and a couple other places. But I'm not suggesting at all anybody, especially in my, people who are associated with my group, to go into dangerous favelas just to prove a point. Especially when you're a first timer and you don't know the
Oh,
language or anything like that.
of course not. Of course not. I totally agree with you there. I'm not. I'm all with you on that. You know what I mean? Yeah, I
And
totally agree.
yeah, because there's a lot, like I said, I had a lot of issues with a lot of guys in the group 2 weeks ago who was like trying to push on their agenda. There was a little bit more to it, what they really wanted to do versus what they were trying to put out there. And you and I, like I said, we don't agree on a lot of things. Okay, but you know, we always came together with respect and everything like that. You and me, Steven. Like I said, you and Johnny the Serious, like I said, you two brothers, y'all, I know y'all have, you know, y'all little disagreements at times, and I hope y'all will be able to squash any issues in the further future because you two guys, you did something that a lot of us are, you know, in my case, planning to do, but you did it on the first trip. You decided that you wanted to make a new life in this country on your first trip, you know. And I really hope that you and Johnny could come together. You know, y'all, to me, y'all basically, you know, people that a lot of us would look up to because you did it on your first trip and y'all, you know, it was hard in the beginning, but y'all able to manage and y'all living pretty decent lives, you know. And that, you know, in that perspective, I just wanted to say to the members of the group, all right, you know, this group, what like I said before in the past, was created for, you know, black empowerment, black man unity, and also awareness about Brazil and the black man's option in Brazil. We should not be taking the time out to insult each other and disrespect each other. As far as I'm concerned, this is an extended family of mine, okay? And we should look at it as that and try to help each other, all right, instead of disrespect each other. You know, this is not a Tommy Sotomayor disrespect group. This is a group,
Yeah,
exactly, this is a group of black men coming together, and we can probably build the black man's option, just like Steven and just like Johnny DeSerious have done already. We basically look towards their example and try to emulate it. You know, Steve, we are coming down towards the final minutes of our interview, man. Anything else you would like to put out there, brother?
yeah. I just want to put out, you know, what I mean, that I totally agree with you. You know, as far as the respect issue goes, and then I just want to apologize. If I didn't say anything disrespectful to
Oh no,
anybody.
it was just
Really have
information, you know,
I don't have anything against anybody, man. But sometimes I just get over. I go overboard, about this whole thing
because you're
because I have a
passionate.
real passion for the Brazilian culture and the country and stuff like that. I just like to get my side of the story out there. I'm not saying that mine's better than anyone else's perspective.
Of
But I'm
course.
just wanting to put mine out there.
Of course, man. Like I said, that's the thing. We're all about educating brothers because, like I said, as far as I can see it right now, Brazil is the last frontier. And Stephen, I'm not sure if you've been listening to the news up here in the U.S. It's getting bad, man. I mean, shooting
Yeah,
brothers in the back 8 times now is starting to become the norm now. You know,
yeah,
and it's either we have to worry about us killing each other, and now we got to worry about Jim Crow coming back to finish us off. And the unity starts, and if it can start right here in this group to help brothers come down to Brazil and start maybe new lives like you and Johnny, it's a start, and it's a start in the right direction, and we can keep the positive going and keep the negative back here in Matrix USA. You know,
yeah. I would like to see that happen. Yeah,
yeah, and it's going to happen. I would, my dream is to see a middle class community of African American men who've came down to Brazil, whether any part of Brazil, and started helping build up the middle class in Brazil with Afro Brazilians in general. You know, and like I said, Brazil's got a lot of like I said, a lot of treasures that us African Americans could definitely partake in. You know, you know,
yeah. I agree.
and Steven, man, like I said, man, it's been a while, man. I mean, it's but I could see you well, as usual, man. You doing well, man. You still the your English teacher, correct?
Yes.
All right, man. Like I said, your career is rolling. And like I said, we're at the final moments of the this interview here with my man Stephen Sullivan. Okay, always good, brother, to have you on. We're gonna have you on again, in the near future. You know, and I just want to put it out there to all the brothers: respect and love. United we stand, divided we fall alone. Okay, and let's stand together. This is Charles Tyler and Stephen Sullivan over at the Charles Tyler Show, the Black Man's Option. Always love, peace and love. Check y'all brothers later.